Hi, and welcome to video 2, Approaching Offline Companies. Now here's a quick layout of what we're going to talk about in this particular video. First, we're going to find companies. I'm actually going to show you, screen capture video of step by step what to do, how to find them. And then I'm going to talk about approaching offline companies. How do you approach them? Then I'm going to talk about how to build a relationship with them, which is giving them a free consultation. So the question that you have is, why offline companies? What are the advantages and disadvantages of dealing with offline companies? Well, first of all, I'm going to start out with the advantages. The advantages are that you have less competition. When you're dealing with online businesses, they know about autoresponders and things like that, and they're a little more familiar with autoresponders and all that because you get hammered by build your list, build your list, build your list. But in the offline arena, you don't get hammered as much. They understand the value of a list, but a lot of times they're using old email systems that cost them largest amounts of money every year. In fact, I used to work for a company that invests about $10,000 into their system each and every year. So you can imagine approaching them and giving them a better solution for $10,000, and for it will save them pretty much for a lifetime. So that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with offline companies. They take you seriously because they're using a lot of traditional marketing. They're not using advanced online marketing tactics. They're investing lots of money into direct marketing. So a lot of offline companies are willing to pay $5, $10, $20,000 just for a list. But they're not really building their lists properly. The company I used to work for, they invested $20,000 to $30,000 in their lists. And guess what? Out of the lists, only 2 or 3 people would convert. And I tell them over and over again, you've got to build your list on your own. Because if somebody signs up onto your list, they are more likely to trust you versus somebody that you don't know and you buy a list. So you can see where I'm going with this. A lot of companies actually do that offline. They buy their lists. And a lot of times their lists do not convert as well. But your whole goal here as well is you can take two different takes to build your list and to email their existing clients. A lot of companies are still using Outlook Express, or they're using a very old email system that limits them, like I said earlier. So they're already paying several $1,000s a year. So your goal is to approach these companies and tell them, hey, guess what? I got this system, email system, that I can set up for you one time. All I have to do is set it up once, and your system runs itself. You tell them that, they think, wow, I can get a system that runs itself. That's pretty amazing. All right. I mean, there's lots of systems out there like Infusionsoft and stuff that works great, but they do cost a lot of money, and it really depends on their needs. That's why you do a free consultation. If you do a free consultation and you approach the offline company, you need to use your brain to figure out, what is best for them. Is it better for them to use Aweber, you know, from what they want to do, or is it easier for them to use a different system? So you need to decide that. But anyways, advantages. Less competition, they take you seriously. They are willing to pay 5 to 10,000 and more because they're already paying and they're already investing money into systems that are old and that are not functioning as well as what you can provide them. They tend to use traditional marketing, so you have an edge in the market. Even if they're trying to use online marketing and all that, I mean, most of the time, if you're coming online, you have more knowledge, or you've seen what people can use. So, believe it or not, offline companies are still, using traditional marketing. Unless you're dealing with big companies, I'm talking about like mom and pop companies and companies that deal with like one person running it, or companies in the size of maybe, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people or less. It depends on the company. Some companies have advanced marketing. Some companies are traditional marketing. So you got to figure out which one is which. So that's where the free consultation comes in. I'll show you that in just a minute. Disadvantages, there are disadvantages. Takes more time to explain things. When you're dealing with offline companies and they're using traditional marketing, it takes more time to explain things. Sometimes more time to convince them that what you have is right. But really, when you do this step by step, what I show you, then a lot of times it'll open doors and it'll make them say, aha, or wow, this is a lot better than what I have. And even though I don't like change, I'm willing to change because I could save, 10, 20, $30,000 in the long term. If you show them that they're going to save money and that they can save time, which of course time is money, then you're going to convince them. All right, so the question is how to find companies. First of all, I'm going to talk about a few things that you need to look for when you're finding companies, and then I'll actually show you how to find companies by going to Google Trends and different websites and different tools. What you want to do is focus on a specific hot niche in your area. The reason why I say that is because if you specifically focus on a hot niche in your area, then you can focus on other companies in that niche as well. And here's why. What you can do is go to Google Trends. I'll show you that in just a minute, but I'm going to use Google Trends to figure out whether or not something is hot in a specific area. You can also use Google Local by typing the keyword plus the city and state to find companies once you've found a hot niche in your area. You can also check to see if you can find a PPC ad or pay-per-click ad from the company. Sometimes if these companies are investing money into pay-per-click, then you know that they're already trying to reach the online world and they're trying to improve themselves. If you can find somebody who has a pay-per-click ad, they may not be, all into different marketing tactics, but they are using PPC because they want to increase their sales. If you find somebody like that, that increases your conversions because it's easier to convince them. You also want to see if they have a website. Check out their email system. See what kind of email system they're using. Are they still saying, hey, email me at this email? Or are they saying, sign up on this list? That way you can tell. You can tell if they're still using an autoresponder system or they're just using a basic email. So the first thing you want to do is go to www.google.com/trends. Google Trends is a great tool to use. It measures, in specific areas, what is hot as far as like keywords goes. For example, I know in South Carolina, weddings are hot. And we get a United States. South Carolina is the top 4 places where people go and type in weddings. Weddings is a very profitable industry. I know that for a fact. Even during the recession, even during downtimes, people still get married and they still have to, pay for a wedding planner and things like that. So let's say I'm looking to focus on wedding planners. So once I figure out what is hot in my state, and before this, of course, you need to do some brainstorming, figure out topics that you want to, specific niches that you want to go into. I would say create about 10 or 20 and then go to Google Trends, type it in, and then figure that out. Once you do that, I would go back to Google and I would type in a keyword. Put the keyword in the quotations and put a plus sign, and then put your city and your state. Alright, so here you will see Google will list a bunch of local business results for weddings. And on the right here, you'll see a bunch of sponsored links. Fortunately, if you read all this, it says like, add a touch of southern elegance and charm to your wedding day. So I could go to this website, and I could go to this website. This website sells photo needs. This website sells planning, event planning, wedding planning. This site sells spas. But what I want to do is focus on specific wedding planning. And this is what I was talking about, PPC ads. These people are paying for pay-per-click ads. And they're focusing for people like me or people in my area that are searching for wedding and wedding planning, right? So if you know that they went through the process of bidding on a pay-per-click ad, their marketing is probably a little up to par, but they're still looking to increase their sales by using online marketing, and they're a lot more open to it. So now you don't know until you actually talk to the people where they stand as far as online marketing goes. But you can see that they take less convincing. Now, people down here, you can look through and find people in your area too. One thing I like to do is if I click on local business results, you will find people that review, different wedding planners and things like that. I might even go as far as say wedding planning. Wedding planning. And I'll just go through and look through it, and some of these places have websites, some places don't have websites. This place has a website. As you can see, it's a pretty big store. Then I want to go to their website and look at their contact. Do they have contact information? Like this. See, they're still using an email. They're still saying email me here. So they're not using an autoresponder system. So that's one way to tell whether or not this company is using an autoresponder system or not. So what I'll do is create a list of a bunch of places that I want to call, and then I'll just call them. And then that's when we move on to the next step. Once you have found the companies that you want to approach, you want to create a list of them. Now you can call the companies. That's when you're going to need your cell phone, your landline, or whatever. You're going to need a phone. And you're going to need confidence and basic communication skills. Yes, you have to call the company. Do not email the company. It's just easier to call the company, plus they will trust you more if you call the company. Ask to speak with their marketing director, because the marketing director or whoever takes care of the marketing is going to want to hear about it. And especially if they feel like you know what you're talking about, then they will be interested, because the marketing director wants to increase sales. If you can talk their language, then they are more open to your consultation. So ask to speak to their marketing director. And here's a quick tip. If you help someone in a specific niche, for example, hairdressers, their competition is going to want to do it too. That's why I say find a specific hot niche and then stick with that niche. If that niche does well, you can go to so-and-so's competition, say, hey, I just set up a system for this guy. And he's like, oh yeah, he's my competition. Well, I can set it up for you too and increase your market, because if they know so-and-so has it, they're going to want to have it too, because they want to be on top of the edge. They want to be on top of the hill, and they want to be in the front. And so you see my point. Do not try to sell them anything. Do not try to sell the marketing director or whoever you're talking to anything. Your whole goal is just to ask about their company and how to set up a free consultation. But before you call the company, you kind of want to have an idea of what the company is about and what they do. But your whole goal here is to set up a free consultation. And the reason why I say do not sell them anything, because if you try to sell somebody, you're going to stand out, you're going to look like a telemarketer. That's not your goal. Your whole goal is just to figure out, what they're on, what kind of system they're on, and just talk to them. See, just say that you're offering a bunch of free consultations and you're willing to sit down for an hour and just listen to them. And I mean, during this process, you might not close some deals in the beginning, but if you think about it, sometimes this is good to boost your communication skills. I mean, you can see it in different lights. You might not make the sale, but you will definitely improve one way or another. And just make sure that you pick a good company. To pick a good company, just follow the basic guidelines that I showed you earlier about how to find a good company. Because some companies are worth your while, some companies are not. And generally, you can tell when you talk to them on the phone whether they're interested or not. Sometimes they're like, I don't know. But sometimes you might be able to close a deal even they're like, But sometimes they're like, I don't know. And you kind of know in your heart that this company is not going to be convinced anyway. So you might as well move on and find another company. Free consultation. Why do you need a free consultation? Well, the whole idea with a free consultation is to give you free entry to build trust. You stand out among all the telemarketers and all the people out there that are selling people stuff. And you're giving them a free consultation because sometimes they can learn stuff from the free consultation. It gives you time to show them that you know what you're talking about. It gives you time to show them that you know the autoresponder system very well. Even you're using the system. I hope that you're using the system, an autoresponder before you go out and sell it, because you do want to walk the talk. You want to talk the talk and walk the walk. It also gives you a chance to learn what the company is not doing in other areas. Hint, hint, more opportunity for other services. For example, if they're not doing like a specific marketing method to boost their rank in the search engines, they're not using pay-per-click marketing, you jot that all down. You ask them questions about what they're doing and what they're not doing, because this gives you a chance. If, let's say, you do close a deal, or let's say they're like, I don't know if I want this email system. You tell them flat out, well, you're not doing this, this, and this to boost your search engine rank. Let me show you what I can do for you. Of course, you don't want to do it at that moment. You want to do it after you do the free consultation. Do not sell anything in the free consultation anyways. Your whole goal is to figure out where they are, what their goals are, and where they can go with your services. So, as you can see, that's the idea of free consultation. You can figure out in a specific niche. Let's say this hairdresser guy, or let's say this gym owner. They answer all the questions, but you don't close the deal. Well, then you're thinking, man, I wasted so much time. Well, guess what? You did not waste time. You can go to another gym membership. Say, hey, I just gave a free consultation to so-and-so. You learn a lot about a specific niche just by talking to a gym owner or a specific niche product owner or service owner. You learn a lot about that niche. So if you go to the next person, you know a lot about that niche. So when you approach them, you'll know more about what you're talking about, and you can associate that with that niche. And not only does that make them say, wow, But that even builds a closer relationship with them because they feel like, wow, you really know my industry. So, what I'm making here is even though you fail, you're going to improve in a different area. And that's the way you want to see it as. Because that's what's going to push you forward. It shows you where they are and where you can take them. Because if they see where they are, they're like, man, I'm wasting so much money. I'm putting $5,000-$10,000 every year into this system. But, I could do it once and then forget it and set it up once and have the autoresponder go over and over again and automate itself. If you can show them that you can take something that's not automated and make it automated, they're going to love you. I tell you, they are going to love you. And if you set up this first system for you, let's say you charge $5,000, which is a lot lower, but you get a free entry or an entry into their system, they're going to want you to set up all their other systems. So this is really a entry into their business so that you can become their marketing guy or provide them services that you can easily outsource. So what's the goal of the free consultation? I've pretty much covered a lot of that already, but I'm going to go over that again. Your goal is to figure out if there's a tedious and time-consuming process that they are doing that is not necessary. Read that again. Your goal is to figure out if there's a tedious process and time-consuming process they are doing that is not necessary. Bam, you got that there. If you figure out that tedious and time-consuming process that costs them a lot of money, a lot of time, that is not necessary, and what you can do is replace that system so that they save time, they save money, and they save time so they can spend that time. You tell them flat out, well, I can save you money and time. And the time that you're spending on doing all this tedious process, I can show you that you can take that time and spend it on your business. You can spend it on what's necessary so that you can actually take time to build up your business. So that's the goal of the free consultation. When you ask them questions, make sure that you customize those questions towards their business. And the way you do it is, I'll show you some questions later on. The questions you ask are about them first. You learn more about their system and their business. Then you can customize it towards their business. Once you start customizing it towards their business, the more they will realize more about their business, what deficiencies and what they can improve on in their business. And if you help them see that, they will trust you more. Let them learn a few things about themselves so that they think, wow, aha, so that's what I've been doing all around, wrong. And that's what I can do to improve. Well, of course, you don't tell them how to improve it. You're the guy that makes it improve. You're the guy that sets up the system. But you can give a little bit, but just don't give too much. I've made the mistake of giving too much. And then they realize how to do it. Then they're like, oh, I can get a guy in my web development to do that, But you're really coming at the angle that you're the marketing guy. You can have it all set up, but you're the marketing guy, and you can help them in other areas of their business. Now, you're probably thinking, wow, okay, what kind of questions should I ask them? I don't know what kind of questions to ask them. I mean, you can make up questions as you go along, but your whole goal is to find out more about their business. Like, for example, explain your business. What do you do and how does it all work? So this could even take 15-20 minutes for them to explain. And you're just there jotting down notes, about the business. What do they do? Like, what do they sell? Is it a product or service? Because you're going to need to know this in the long run. How do they deliver the product? How does it work? How do they develop the products without going into detail? Let's say gym membership. You're not really developing product. It's more of a service. So if I was going to focus on gym memberships, gym owners, I would ask them, all right, can you explain your business? I know a little bit about your business, but I want you to explain your business. What do you do? How do you make money? Give me a list of, briefly generalizing everything you do to make money. Okay, gym memberships make money from memberships. They make them from, personal training hours, 40, 45 bucks an hour. They make memberships possibly on classes. But you need to figure that out, because then you can use that later on. Then ask them how it works. How does your current system work? How do you, how are you marketing? How are you gathering? What is your audience? Who is your target market? Are they older people? The gym that I go to, I'm not poking fun at any gym. I'm just saying the gym that I go to has a lot of older people, people from age of 40 to 70. So I like that. It caters to the people that are older and generally are, just there to weightlift. So you can jot that down. Okay, this gym is good for people who are this, this, and this. And then you have like places like Gold's Gym, which, you don't approach them because they already have their systems out, but they cater to a lot of different age groups because they have a lot of classes and things like that. So you're going to want to know the business, who their audience is, and who their target market is. Because guess what? You can offer other services, like I said earlier, in the long run, like marketing services. You're going to need to know what audience they're dealing with if you want to rank them high on Google Local or the search engines. Then you want to ask the big question, how are you marketing your business? They're going to say, well, I'm using a lot of direct marketing. I probably use a lot of a lot of mail, physical mail. And a lot of offline businesses, they do a lot of physical mail type stuff. They're still moving to the email marketing arena. So you want to figure out, how are they marketing their business? That's why you want to talk to their marketing director. What are your goals for generating leads? Of course, they're going to say, oh man, I imagine myself having hundreds of people walk through that gym membership or gym door, and lots of gym memberships and blah, blah, blah. Of course, they're going to say that. That's their goal. But you want to get specifics, like, okay, give me specific goals for generating leads. What type of leads, you want to generate? What can you give away for free? They're like, I don't know. I can give maybe 1 month free if they buy this such and such, discount or something. And your whole goal is to figure out what they can give away for free. Now, when you're dealing with offline companies, you want to kind of explain to them, what I want you to do is give away for free some digital item. You're not giving away, a physical item. And they're like, oh, really? So that means I don't have to ship it. And you're thinking, yes, I just want to build an autoresponder system and give away good content that teaches your leads, what to do and how to improve themselves. For example, gym membership. What kind of stuff are people going to want to know? Different segments of the gym. Some want to learn about weight loss. Some want to learn about gaining muscle mass. It's usually the women that want to learn weight loss, and some men that want to do weight loss. Some want to do cardio. Some want to increase their endurance. Some want to do this or that. So you could say, oh, well, I could set up 4 different autoresponders or email segment lists, and you can give away content. Gym memberships, they do personal training anyways. You could create a bunch of videos and give it away for free and show people exactly what to do. And you can do that in a way to sell your personal training membership or personal training service. So you see where I'm getting at this. Your whole goal is to show them that they can give away free digital stuff, ebooks, reports, newsletters, videos. to people that want to improve themselves and want to fix solutions. They don't always have to, they're always going to think, oh, what can I give away for free? I've talked to many offline companies, and the first thing they'll say is, "Oh, I got a bunch of CDs that I could give away, or I could give these physical items away for free." And I asked them, I was like, "What is it that your audience wants the best, wants the most?" And they're like, gym owner says, they want to improve their diet, they want to know this and that. And I say to them, well, you can all send that through email. You don't have to give away a physical CD. You save money by doing that in as well. So they're thinking like, wow. I know some of you're thinking, man, this sounds stupid, but it's really not. It's just a lot of offline companies, especially mom and pop stores, they don't know anything about online marketing. So when you tell them, you're basically showing them a totally different world. You want to ask then, explain your current process of generating leads. How are you going about generating leads? Are you mailing people and asking them to email you back? Are you using a website to do it? How are you marketing the website? Things like that. Do you currently email your customers? This is a big question because this tells you what system they use. Most of the people that I have approached, they say, yeah, I've been using Outlook Express. And I'm like, yeah, you need to switch to a different system, which is fine if you email with Outlook Express, but you want to automate the system, right? They say, wow, so you're saying that I could just pop in an email and click a button and send and broadcast the whole list? I say, yeah, you can do that. Plus, you can build your list, by automation, and you can automatically send them emails automatically without you having to have somebody enter the email every time and email them. And they're thinking, wow, that really would save me time and money. And of course, the last question pretty much answers what we've talked about. How do you email your customers? What email system do you use? You could even ask, how much does it cost you to use the email system? Another offline company that I was consulting at one time, I said, how do you email your customers? They said, we're using the email system and it costs us only $5,000 a year. And I say to them, okay, what exactly does that email system do? They say, oh, we can just, it acts like an autoresponder basically. You can put in emails and email. And I say, what is your response rate of your email? As you can see, I'm building off of these questions, basically probing to figure out whether the system works or not, because I want to find some sort of loophole or deficiency in their email system. If you can find that, then you can point it out. So one system, they were paying $5,000 a year. I said, okay, I can do it for you for a few hundred. That was my first one, actually. And they're like, a few hundred? And of course, offline companies, it's not that you're ripping them off. A lot of times, if you charge them too low, like I just charge a couple $100 to do it, because it'll take me a few hours to do it anyways. But the fact that I charged a few $100, they came to me later saying, "Oh, we don't think this will work. We're looking to pay at least $10,000 for a system." And I'm thinking in my head, what in the world? They just passed down an opportunity to save $5,000 a year because my price was too low. So I go back to them. I say, okay, I'll do it for you I'll add some extra services and I'll add some marketing, services to it, and I'll charge you $9,000. They said, okay, great. I can't wait to do business with you. So if somebody comes back to you saying, no, we don't think this is going to work for me, you go back to them, add some services onto them, say, okay, I'll not only set up your autoresponder system, I'll help you rank in the search engines, and I'll show you how to use pay-per-click marketing to get traffic to your site and start building your list. And if you say that, sometimes you're like, oh, you add stuff on to what you earlier did and increase the price. And often they value that. It's just like you buy something. Let me give you an example. If you get something for free, most likely you're not going to use it, and most likely you're not going to take it as serious as you would normally would. If you pay for something, then you're willing to take the time to learn from it and use it. So it's the same concept here. Last thing I want to do is talk about pricing. How do you price it? Well, after your consultation, you get to know the company and you should get an idea of their budget and how much they can afford. Not all companies can afford $10,000. Not all companies can afford $5,000. A lot of them will range anywhere from a couple thousand to 5,000 for mom and pop places. Then you have bigger companies that can't afford $10,000. So you need to know what their budget is. You can kind of tell from the way their business is. If they charge a lot of money and they're doing well for the business, you know that their budget is probably pretty high. But you should know all this by asking them about their marketing, how they're marketing, and their business, if their business is doing well, things like that. So $5,000 is usually a good starter. Like I said, couple thousand, depending on their budget. Bigger companies usually will think your service is too cheap if you charge less. Sort of like what I talked about earlier. So 5 to 10,000 is a good range.